One of my favorite things to eat in the summer is salad. I'm not talking about boring lettuce salads, but delicious and satisfying salads. Today, the one I'm making is filled with whole grains and protein and can be customized with whatever ingredients you have in your refrigerator. Most of the recipes I provide are mere guidelines. I always invite you to improvise and make a recipe your own, change it up, use whatever ingredients you have on hand, or use what is in season. In fact, you'll see I'm cooking barley here with a little bit of onion and some parsley and garlic for a little extra flavor, but I had intended on making a farro salad. However, when I went to the grocery store, they didn't have any farro, so I had to buy barley, and it still turned out delicious. The blueprint of this recipe is barley, or farro, or quinoa. I use that whole grain to form the salad's base. The quantity really depends on how much salad you want to make in the end, so whichever you choose, just make the amount you want following your package directions, and then allow it to cool before you move on. To this salad, I added some veggies. I added a little red onion. I used some sun-dried tomatoes. I had a leftover grilled zucchini. I added that too. You can use whatever you like. I prefer to use whatever is in season, but it's also a great place to use up leftovers or just random things from your fridge. I used multiple protein foods to make this sort of a well-rounded salad. I used white beans, and again, I drained off a can. I didn't use the whole can. I used partial. You can use as much or as little as you want. And if you don't have white beans, you could use pinto beans, black beans, chickpeas. You get the idea, right? I then wanted to add some cheese, so I used little tiny mozzarella balls. I believe they are called, what are they called? I believe they're called pearls. But if you could only find larger balls, you could cut them into quarters, or if you could only buy like the big piece of fresh mozzarella, just dice it up into chunks. I also used some feta crumbles. I really just used it at the end. You could use as much or as little as you want. And then to add a little more extra protein, I did serve this salad along with some sauteed shrimp. It would also be good all on its own. For flavoring, again, we had the sun-dried tomatoes already, which are delicious, but I also added some Kalamata olives for a nice zippy bite, and then fresh basil and fresh parsley for some, nice fresh herb flavor. And then to dress the salad, I kept the dressing fairly simple. I used a combination of red wine vinegar, balsamic vinegar, a little bit of honey, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of Dijon mustard, salt and pepper to taste, blended that up. Again, the amount you make really kind of depends on how big your salad is. So mix some up, add a little bit, see how it tastes. You can always add more if needed. And again, there are several ways to change this recipe up to make it your own. If you aren't a fan of barley, use another whole grain like farro, bulgur wheat, quinoa. You can even use like a whole grain pasta like orzo, which is that little rice shaped pasta. That would be delicious. Use any veggie that you have and that you like. You can choose seasonal veggies whenever possible. Keep it fresh and light with like cucumber and grape tomatoes, raw cauliflower, and maybe even like raw zucchini. Or add more flavor and variety by roasting or grilling some of your veggies. The grilled zucchini was great in here, but you could also do grilled mushrooms, grilled eggplant, roasted red peppers. All of those things would be delicious. This salad can easily be gluten-free by choosing a gluten-free grain like quinoa. You can make it vegan by skipping the cheeses and the honey. If you want to add more protein, maybe adding in some chunked up marinated tofu, that would be delicious. And while I went with Mediterranean flavors here, you could change up the whole flavor profile and lean into that. Maybe go with an Asian dressing and then include snap peas and radishes and edamame. Maybe more marinated tofu or sprouts would be good. You could also go like Mexican tex-mex by using like pinto beans or black beans instead of the white beans. Maybe include some roasted butternut squash, jalapeno, fresh corn, tomatoes, lots of cilantro. You get what I'm saying. You make a dressing that's made with lime juice and some cumin, maybe some chili powder, and you have a delicious Tex-Mex salad. So you can really change this up in so many ways. I encourage you to give this salad a try or some version of it. Make yourself a healthy salad to enjoy for dinner this summer.